What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of JohnnyVTV Live. As always, joining with me is the crew, myself, Mr. Kyle Donnelly, his Boston Red Sox, a little RIP, and Mr. Nick Durst rocking hoodie season. What's going on, fellas?
I don't want to talk about it.
You're right, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm a little butthurt at the moment.
Wait,
Let's
we
put it that way
jinxed
and leave it. Yeah, you both jinxed
Hold
it.
on.
You both did.
Do we actually believe that we jinxed this? I mean,
Absolutely.
Boston was up 2-1 at the time, and we're like,
I was the only one that said that don't count. I was the one trying to tell you guys don't count it like it's not. And you both were writing them right into the World Series. And
I got to be honest, it was more likely because I just didn't want to hear you. But listen, that's a thing of the past. It sounds like a you problem that the Red Sox lost. But we got World Series Game 1 tonight, boys. And to help us break down the matchup, we have one of my very good friends and the Chicago Cubs first baseman, Mr. Frank Schwindel. Let's bring him out. Frankie boy, how we doing? Thanks for joining the podcast.
What's going on, guys?
Today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Frank the
Thank
Tank.
you for joining us, sir.
Red Storm's very own.
Oh, yeah.
Big East baseball.
So, Frank, we just see you got inducted into your high school Hall of Fame in Livingston. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How's it going, man? Because, listen, we've known each other for a very long time. We've talked about it, and it seems like everything finally came together for you. Off camera, we were joking. Once you got acquired by the Cubs from Oakland on July 30th, your average was 143. Mm-hmm. By the end of August, your average was 308. Take us through what happened over just that 1 month. Your life changed. You said when you went out before, people didn't even recognize you. Then everyone was always coming up to you, and it just instantly it changed for you. What happened?
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, obviously, going from alternate site, which is tough, grinding through that, to Vegas I was feeling real good in Vegas. Ball flies a little bit out there, and starting to put together a pretty good year. To going up to Oakland, homer in first at bat, feeling real good, and then I knew I was going to be like a lefty type, DH pinch hitter when a lefty's on the mound. So that's never an easy situation to stay, locked in during that, but whatever. So then just going to the Cubs and getting a chance to play every day was just awesome. So I think just them telling me that I was going to be in the lineup every day just gave me the confidence and, not having to worry about anything else and go from there. So just crazy.
So it took your mind, it gave you a sense of mental clarity that be like, all right, I'm going to get my reps, because beforehand, whether it's with the Royals, whether it was the A's, a little bit with the Tigers, you kind of had to worry about, all right, am I playing today? Am I not playing today? It's kind of like, I kind of equated to a running back that has to split carries with somebody. You're in for one drive, then you're out. You don't really have the opportunity to build continuity, consistency. And not everybody can play one day, get 4 at-bats, don't play for 3 more days, get 2 at-bats, then they get taken out, and then it's a revolving door. So did that provide a lot of just relaxation for you to say, I'm getting reps, I'm going to be able to get better every day?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, you're looking at the schedule a week in advance. All right, the lefty's throwing on Monday, Saturday, next Tuesday. So, you're playing those days, but then there's 3 lefties in the bullpen that you got to be ready for. They're going to play matchups probably about the 6th, 7th, 8th inning, whatever. So then you're in the cage about the 4th or 5th, trying to ramp up your whole routine, and it's just not an easy situation to be in. Obviously, it's a blessing to have that opportunity to be in the big leagues, but pinch hitting is probably the only thing harder than hitting in the big leagues.
Talk about the Frank the Tank mania, because now I think we have to officially dub Frank Schwindel as Frank the Tank, because you said 4 or 5 straight game-winning or go-ahead hits, and everybody was just making Frank the Tank dubbed as Frank Schwindel. I mean, there's just you're the player of the week. There's just all these memes about you, like all these pictures on SportsCenter, ESPN, that you're just coming through in the clutch. Like, what goes through your mind when you are in a situation like that and you feel like you need to deliver, but then you're locked in and you're just coming through on an everyday basis?
That was wild. I mean, I can't describe that, but just to be in that situation with a chance to do something those 4 or 5 games in a row, whatever it was. But yeah, it was awesome. And then the one game was Duff hit a grand slam, and then I hit a grand slam later after I think Reynolds hit one earlier in the game. So just like crazy stuff was happening. And then, just string those all together. But I'd get back in the clubhouse after the game, be like, what just happened there? Like it was just wild. So we were enjoying it, and the team was winning. We were on a nice little streak there. So it was the most fun I ever had. But I really can't describe it. It's not like I tried to do anything different. Just got some pitches to hit and put some good swings together.
So you could speak to this very well. What message would you have for ball players in a similar situation to you as early as the beginning of 2021, where, you're this close and you just need that break to go your way to break through. And then before you know it, you're a household name. You're somebody that people recognize. And there's a lot of ball players that are just on the cusp that they're so close to breaking through. What's your message to those guys?
Like if you want it, just never give up. Because, I had a very good 17-0, very good 18-0. Opening day first baseman in 19 and sent down 2 weeks later. So I knew I was right there. And obviously there's some days where you doubt yourself and like, is this it? AAA, 4A guy, you hear the term. But I was just like, when I'm hot, I could be, one of the best hitters, I feel like. So I just wanted that opportunity, and then finally got that chance to, like I said, be in a lineup every day without having to worry about much. And then, seeing the Cubs, they kind of a little bit of fire sale. They got rid of some payroll, the fan favorites. So the guys that came in really didn't have much pressure because we had no expectations, and then just go out and kind of have some fun and went from there. So I would just say, just keep working hard. And if you believe in yourself, just why not keep going?
Frank, you were super hot to end the year, so obviously you're probably already chomping at the bit to get back into action. But without getting yourself in trouble here, what are you hearing about December 1st? We heard some unpromising news today, but I mean, how is that going to impact your preparation in the offseason if there's potentially going to be a lockout or holdout here?
Oh yeah, I mean that'd be probably worst case scenario, but the players are going to band together and do what's best for the majority of the players. So that's that. But yeah, I'm ready to go at any time, and I can't wait to get back out there. So that's out of my control. I'm just going to go work as hard as I can this off season to, touch up a couple things and show up ready to go whenever that may be.
Cool. And taking it back to college real quick, it's very rare that we see players coming out of the Northeast now in the majors from colleges. Obviously, it's very tough with the winter weather. What do you remember about the hardest part about basically playing in February or March or even April, where it's you're 40 degrees, and how do you get warm? And did that help you at all going to Chicago?
I think that's all mental toughness. You just got to grind that out. And I think it prepared me for now. Chicago is probably worse in April, I've heard, with the wind and the cold and everything. And, playing in Omaha a couple years in a row. Opening day in Kansas City, it rained and was like 40 something. It snowed the next day. So definitely shows the mental toughness and the preparation that goes through the Northeast baseball that, we're not on the field till maybe opening day, stuff like that. But, yeah, you got to stand by the heaters in between innings. You got the hot hands and the hand warmers, and then just go out there and grind it out and, give it your best for 3 hours and then hit the hot tub or the steam shower after that. But, yeah, there's not many tricks other than that to it, but just to try not to worry about it and just play as hard as you can. But you get that one sinker in on the hands and your hands sting for 3-4 innings, it feels like.
Hey, Frank, so we talked about it. This was your coming out party. You ended up having 222 at bats this season, and obviously it was backloaded after you got traded to Chicago. They had the fire, so you become an everyday starter for them. You end up with a 342 average, 14 bombs, 40 RBIs on the season, 43 RBIs on the season. What are you looking to build on for next season? Is Frank Schwindel going to become a 330, 45 home run, $130 RBI first baseman starting for the NL in the All-Star game in 2022?
I mean, that's the goal. But, time will tell. I'm going to just go in with the same approach, same attitude, and, treat every day like I did this past year. Just have as much fun as possible, and we'll go from there. I mean, once I start worrying about all that extra stuff, that's when things spiral out of control. But I think the main focus this year, especially with the Cubs, was to, have as much fun and enjoy every single day. So I try not to worry about the other stuff. So we'll go from there and see what happens.
So basically, Frank, with you not having to platoon over at first base and you getting a lot of the looks, does that help you at the plate, allow you to be a free swinger? Does that help you when you're out in the field, allow you to relax and kind of just play loose and not so tense?
Absolutely. I feel like, especially a couple of those at bats with the A's, you're pinch hitting and it's do or die. You get one at bat, I know I'm going to get a runner or something like that. So I might chase that pitch, 2 inches off, trying to do something with it rather than, if I get out on that pitch and I know I have 3 more at bats, I'm not worried about that. But if I go 0 for 1, it's a terrible day. And, I don't think I had any 1 for 1s, but those are the best days. So, it's just a lot better when you got those 4 or 5 at bats at any given time. And, if you have those couple shitty at bats early on, you got that one later on in the game that you could do something with it, and then you could be the hero or whatever. But it's just that comfort and knowing that you got more than 1 for the day, I think, is the biggest part.
Now, that mindset, do you think that's going to allow you to continue your success, or do you think or could it possibly play into something where maybe you're good at home and you struggle from on the road? Is that a possibility, or do you think you're going to be able to continue that no matter where?
No, I'm going to try and keep the same approach, try and keep it relaxed. And if I swing at strikes, I'm usually going to put the ball in play hard somewhere. It's just like, when you're trying to do too much chasing, swinging at those borderline pitches, that's when, it spirals out of control for anybody. That's when the slumps happen. You try and do more than you're capable of. You're swinging at the borderline pitches, the nasty pitches, nobody hits those. So it's just getting the pitch in the big part of the plate, no matter what it is, and just not missing it. So just trying to keep doing that as much as possible, as long as possible.
So, Frank, listen, we got a game tonight. I don't know if you know. It's game 1 of the World Series between the Braves and the Astros. Give it to me straight. Who you got?
I can't gamble and do any of that in baseball, but I'm gonna go for the Braves here. I played with Soler. He's an awesome dude. Played with Terrence Gore. Snuck on that World Series roster to swipe some bags and steal some tacos for Taco Bell. But I'm rooting for those guys, man. They Acuna went down and they rallied together and they're just beating up on everybody. And Freddie Freeman looks like an awesome dude, and I haven't got the chance to play against him yet, but he's one of the best in the game, and it's fun watching him play and watching, trying to learn from him. So I'm gonna root for the Braves here.
The boys will tell you I was dead. I mean, listen, not for nothing. I had a futures bet on the Mets preseason, and we had the other Frank the Tank from Barstool on during the summer, and he went on an absolute rant on how the Mets
was that a show? Ooh.
That was a show and a half.
Where are those social clips, Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle. So how the Mets were just going to fall off a cliff. And, I felt like he spoke it into existence. My futures bet doesn't hit. But I was basically like, listen, I don't believe in the Braves once Acuna went down because I didn't even like them coming into the season. I didn't like their pitching. Their offense is one of the best in baseball, but you need pitching. And lo and behold, they make a couple moves that, aren't splash plays, but it kind of rounds out their team with Eddie Rosario, Duvall, Jorge Soler, Jock Peterson. And here they are, man. They grind, they found a way to get this done and get into the World Series against some really good teams. So credit where it is, but a lot of their success is because Charlie Morton, I mean, the guy's been absolutely butter on the road this season. He's 8-3, opponent batting average of 185. So when you look at Charlie Morton, I think there's a good reason to find success with him and the Braves tonight to steal one in Houston and at least go back to Atlanta 1-1 at the absolute worst.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a strong team, and those midseason acquisitions clearly paid off. They're scary.
If you had one guy to pick for MVP of the series, who would it be?
Oof, Freddie Freeman. Got to go with that. I mean, he's just been smooth swing. He just damaged that Dodger series or whatever. That was impressive. So go from there.
So what I found interesting, and I have to ask you about this because he's actually starting for the Astros tonight. You faced Framber Valdez. You got to start against him before you got traded to the Chicago Cubs. And that was a game where he got hit pretty hard. 5 innings, 5 runs. What would your strategy be for Atlanta facing Framber Valdez tonight?
What we did that game was, he's got the great changeup and the big curveball and the sinker. So if you get him up in the zone, that's when he gets hit. He started off, it was first time through a lot of heaters, and we jumped him early. And what gets people in trouble, got me in trouble, was him. You miss that one heater, he's going to go right to that off speed. And he'll start that changeup at the bottom of the zone, and you look down and you watch the replay after the strikeout, and it's like strike the whole way until it's not. So you got to get him up in the zone and, not chase. And that's when he gets into those deep pitch counts. And, when guys aren't nibbling or not biting when he's nibbling, that's when, he's going to get that pitch count up and leave some over the middle when he's falling behind. So, yeah, I would say get him up and not chase, and you'll probably have some success. But if not, and he's on, then there's not many better from the left side.
So let's say Framber Valdez, you attack him early. You get him out. You don't chase the pitches. You get him out before the fifth inning. Now it's a bullpen game. Obviously, we know what the Astros can do, but their bullpen has been overworked in this postseason because the fact of the matter is their starting rotation really wasn't great coming into the season. Obviously, it's not what it was with Cole and Verlander and Greinke as the 3 and McCullers, but now McCullers looks like he's done for the series, and they're kind of scrimping and scraping. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of this bullpen game. This wasn't a thing in baseball till very recently. Honestly, the first time I've seen a team use it was the Oakland A's against the Yankees in the wild card playing game a few years ago. But what's your strategy against the Astros bullpen if it gets to that point in the 5th, 6th inning where they're going to have to go in heavy mop-up duty?
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to make them work. You got to, take a couple pitches early on, I'd say. If you take the balls, they're going to have to come at you because, this is it. There's 7 games. But if you beat up the pen early, they're not going to throw every day. And if they do, then they're going to be gassed. So, get those starters out early, work some counts, and then, beat up on those relievers. So at least they can come back the next day. Or maybe they won't have the same stuff if they're coming back off short rest. So you got to get to that pen early and just try and beat them up.
Look, the Red Sox made it clear and obvious that if you get to that bullpen and you stretch them out where they have to go into it, they're beatable. They're a beatable team. The Red Sox, the problem was that from game 4 to the end of the series, they just started jumping on early pitches.
Kyle, what color wristbands and batting gloves do you think Dusty Baker rocks for game 1 tonight?
Are there odds on this?
Probably. I'm gonna go with he goes with the orange wristbands and the navy blue gloves with maybe an orange trim on it.
I like the orange. The orange. I like the orange. I gotta say. And by the way, I just noticed you're wearing a Integrity Farms shirt from South Park. Oh my God, Frank! You see what I have to deal with here?
Shout out to my cousin for getting me the best T-shirt of all time.
Frank, you see what I have to deal with here? Okay, so you like the Braves tonight. What about for the series? Do you think the Astros are going to get it done with the home field advantage, or do you think Atlanta steals one and brings a first chip back since the 90s?
Yeah, if Atlanta gets one tonight, they got it. Or one out of these next 2, I think they got it. But you can't leave at 0-2.
So if they go at worst 1-1 heading back to Atlanta, you think the Braves take the series?
I think so.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that they win tonight?
No idea. I've had it on every day, but I'm running around with my 10-month-old, so I don't know. I don't know too much that's going on, but no, it's been fun. It's been what I have seen. It's been some great baseball.
Boy or girl, a 10-month-old, Frank?
Boy, little Frank.
Oh, okay. You're getting a baseball bat in his hands relatively soon.
I got his own bat. He's got a nice Vic.
Is he going to have a lefty swing, or are you going to make him like Pete Rose, where you got him on both sides of the plate?
I think I'm going to try both. He's picking stuff up with both hands right now, so at least give it a shot early on.
If you could make him a left-handed hitting catcher,
switch hitting catcher,
right to the majors.
Switch hitting catcher.
Exactly. Or if he's lefty, just have him throwing the avocados down in the DR as fast as he can and get that arm strength up, and then go from there.
Speaking of Frank, avocados, go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think speaking of catcher, if I'm not mistaken, I might have come across that you have 69 career games catching behind the plate. So that's
I know we might have to keep it right there.
We might have to keep it right there. I think if I think if anybody ever asks you to catch another game again, you got to be like, hey, listen, like it is what it is. I got 69 career games behind the plate that has to stay where it's at.
You don't want to mess up the batting
I
average, right,
was the
guys?
emergency guy this year. So, with the National League, we pinch hit Contreras a couple times on his off days. So I was the next guy in line. So I was about to, strap on the gear in the big leagues, and I was excited. But, he stayed.
Do you want to get back behind the plate?
Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna start the petition. Move Frank the Tank to catcher. Move Wilson Contreras to first base. And move the Frank.
No, I think he's pretty good back there.
That's one of the best spots to view the game. I mean, right behind home plate right there.
Oh, yeah, you don't miss a thing.
You don't miss a thing.
I like for a while he was hitting leadoff bombs too.
Oh,
There's a couple games where I was watching. He was just hitting absolute leadoff bombs. I was like, is Wilson Contreras the catcher batting leadoff? And
he hits him as hard as anybody.
He's a strong dude. He's a strong dude. So before we let you go here, Frank, what can you tell us about the future of the Chicago Cubs? Obviously, they're your big payroll guys. Chris Bryant, gone. Javi Baez, gone. Anthony Rizzo, gone. It's a very young team. There's not a big payroll invested into the offense. Where do you see the direction of the 2022 Chicago Cubs?
No, I think we were right there. A couple games got out of hand, but we were a knock away from being right in those games. And, we had a lot of one-run losses that could have went either way. So, I think we touch up a couple things this offseason. But we'll see what direction they want to go in. We don't know if there's going to be a DH yet, which would be huge, add a big bat back or, but I stay away from the internet and stuff like that. So I'm just going to show up better than ever. And, I feel like the guys in the clubhouse are going to do the same because, we're hungry for it and we're finally getting a chance.
Toughest pitcher you've had to face this year?
Oof, Corbin Burns by far. I felt like I was.
That was the first name off my list. Yeah, Corbin Burns is filth.
Yeah, I was at a golf outing yesterday, and Jackie Bradley Jr. was there, and I was just like, man, I don't know how anybody touches that. And that was just a prayer to put one forward and play off him.
Without stating the obvious, what makes him so difficult? Aside from his repertoire. I mean, I know you're watching him pitch, but from somebody standing up there, seeing what he can do firsthand, I gotta pick your brain a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen the Twitter overlays that every pitch looks the same out of his hand, but not any pitch moves the same way 2 pitches in a row. Like the one at bat, I thought I had him, and then it was 98 sinker in, 2 cutters up and away at 97. Change up down, which he doesn't really throw, and then a couple sliders foul off, and then 96 on the cutter up and away. I'm like, man, just when you think you have him, you don't and you just, I feel like you got to get lucky, or he just makes the very, very rare mistake.
That's going to be a good battle, man. Every time the Cubs are facing the Brewers next season and Burns is pitching, I'm circling it on my calendar. You're going to get a few starts. So I'm going to tape it for you. I'm going to send it to you. Be like, all right, here we go. Here's the overlays for Corbin Burns.
Let's pass on those. Pick another game that day.
Johnny, you're gonna really be giving the man video work on his off day, like you're supposed to be his boy. You're gonna be just giving him a work to be doing.
I'm not giving him video. I'm not giving him video work.
Doing to you, huh?
No idea.
I'm not giving him video work. I just want to, I just want to get the tape on it. That's it.
Man, he's already got a hitting coach,
right? Yeah, exactly.
So Frank,
what would your strategy be against Jacob DeGrom if you get in the box against him next year?
Same thing. You just dig in and pray, and then hopefully he makes a mistake, and you're on time for one of those bullets, or maybe he hangs one and you get lucky. But yeah, there's not much advice you can get off people like that. I don't know how some of those guys get hit at all.
Personal question for me, Frank: was there anybody on the Red Sox pitching staff? I doubt it, but was there anybody you feared there?
That slider. I don't want to get his pronunciation. Ottavino. I don't know.
Adam Ottavino.
Oh yeah, but that slider, it's coming. It's coming, and you'll take one just to see it, and it's coming again, and he's got to make same kind of guy. He's got a mistake and leave it right down the middle, or not many people have a chance.
Frank, so before we let you go here, we gotta get your opinion. Who is your emerging player of the night? Brought to you by Emerge Sports Group. Our boy J-Hen. Take it away, Mr. Schwindel.
I got Terrence scoring a winning run here.
You got Terrence Gore. Is that
Oh,
your
yeah.
player of the night?
Oh yeah, he's gonna swipe a bag and score a winning run. You heard it here first.
Is he? All right. So you changed it.
We gotta get
a different guy. I had a different guy. So you changed it on us. But all right, Terrence
I'm
Gore.
going
You know
with
what?
the sleeper. He's an awesome dude. Played with him for years, so I want to see him do something tonight.
Got a little more to that stat
very
line,
outside
Frank.
box.
Got
What's
a little
up?
more to the stat. Got a little more to the stat line there, other than just a swipe bag and a game-winning run.
No, I think he'll get taken out right after that.
I love it. All right, I love it. Frank, listen, we really appreciate you joining us. Best of luck, and when I'm back in the Garden State, definitely hit you up. We got to get together, but I really
Sounds
appreciate
good.
it. Congratulations on all the success this season. Looking forward to a lot more of it, and congrats on the new baby. And everybody, stay happy and healthy. Thank you very much, Frank.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Nice to meet you.
So talk to you soon.
All right, sounds good. See you,
Thanks
John.
for being here, Frank.
See you later. My guy, Frank the Tank. Good people, man. I've known him a long time, and a very humble guy. And you know what? I've talked to him a lot over the season, and especially over the last few years, I've seen like we talked about how close he was. He really was like just on the cusp, and it just seemed like there was things that weren't breaking his way. And like I've seen him in college, like I know how he can hit. Like the kid's the real deal. And I just texted him, I'm so happy that he's doing this well, and he finally found his niche in Chicago, getting to play every day and showing that actually when he's getting the opportunities and the consistency, he's lights out, man. I mean, and not just that, but how clutch he was, like 4 or 5 straight games with a game-winning hit. Nobody was doing that. And here comes it's awesome to see, bro. And it couldn't happen to a nicer kid because he really is a great dude.
Now, wasn't Matt Olson also the first baseman there for the Athletics, like while Frank was there? So like that kind of like made it that's kind of what was like capping him being able to move to that spot.
Yeah,
a little bit of it, not entirely, but a little bit of it.
I mean, I like Olsen. I think they also designate him as well as an outfielder. But like it was just, it's tough, man. When you're not getting to play every day, it's hard to showcase what you can do when you're a new guy. So he needed to go. This is a perfect situation. He needed to go somewhere where he was going to get some reps and be able to showcase what he could do. Because even in Kansas City, a few years ago, they had a lot of prospects, a lot of good young talent, and he was part of it. But then the problem is, he's 27 years old, and they're drafting guys that are 21, 22, 23, ready to come up. And they're like, you know what? We're going to go with the younger guy. You know what I mean? So it was a tough situation. But listen, man, he persevered. He kept at it, and it's just great to see that he's finally found a place where he's succeeding. So I can't wait for 2022 and to continue watching him have success.
And we alluded to it that he does play catcher, but other than catcher and first base, that's basically it. He sticks to that part of the infield, and that's it, right? As far as his positions.
Yeah, I don't think they're trotting him out for outfield.
Right. So especially with a lineup like Oakland, who loves to move everybody all over the place, kind of like what the new age of baseball is. It's a little tougher for him to, like you said, get the reps at first base that he needs.
Yeah, but you know what? He's got it now. But it's great having him on. Hopefully we'll have him on before the season starts next year. But listen, man, we got some football going on this week. But before we do, what was your reactions to week 7? Same thing, standard operating procedure, who or what stood out for you?
I'm going to keep it at home here. I love what the Titans did. I couldn't believe that they just absolutely ran the Kansas City Chiefs out of the building. I would say then the second one after, because I want to make a note of this at some point, was the Carolina game. That was just an absolute stinker. I couldn't believe what I saw there. But getting back to my favorite team, my glorious team, my beautiful 22 Derrick Henry, who has answered all my football prayers. I am so glad that I have this guy in the backfield, and he opens up the game everywhere else for everybody. It makes it so much simpler for Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's got a lot of heart. I love what he's doing ever since he came here from Miami. This could be the year, knock on wood, but I'm not going to go that crazy yet. They still got to go through teams like the Chargers and the Ravens. They got to prove it. Tennessee actually has to get there and prove it. So they're not there yet, but they look great. And then, like I said, the Giants, they proved, what they proved to me this week? That the Giants are still the Giants, but Sam Darnold is not a true quarterback in this league. Period. Stop.
I would say for me, what stood out has got to be the Baltimore Ravens. You put a hurting on the Chargers, 34-6 the week before. You come out, you're letting Cincinnati hang around. You have absolutely no answer for Jamar Chase. I think, honestly, Marlon Humphrey, I never want to hear the words cornerback one out of anybody's mouth about this guy again. He got toasted by Jamar Chase. Listen, to
be fair, Jamar Chase, we've been touting him as one of the more top prospects, if not the top prospect wide receiver coming out of the draft.
But it doesn't matter, bro. It does not matter. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about.
I understand that he's a pro and he's been here way longer than Jamar Chase.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact that, like, the biggest thing that drove me crazy was Jamar Chase's 80-yard touchdown. The 80-yard touchdown, because the fact is, how do you let him slip out on a slant route like that?
He's got him wrapped up there, right? I agree. That's.
So listen, Baltimore. Everybody was flat. How the Chargers came out against the Ravens the week before was how the Ravens came out against the Bengals. And listen, I'm not a big fan of the Bengals. Like, I like what they're doing, but I don't really think they're that good. I think Baltimore proved that they are fraudulent, and they've been getting very, very fortunate on most of these games. But I got to think, man, how is Baltimore playing all these good games and then they just lay an absolute egg? Yeah, they lay an egg.
I'm not going to lie. I think – sorry, Nick, but I think Cincinnati is the real playoff team here. But go ahead, Nick.
All right, I'm back. Getting some crazy work calls now. But listen, Cincinnati right now, they're the 1 seed. The Raiders are the 2 seed, and the Titans are the 3 seed. Who would have saw that coming before the season? The Titans are legit.
Maybe
they would have looked so much better if the Jets had not beat them somehow. But I believe I'm a believer in the Bengals here. The Raiders, I thought, were going to just roll over and be done with once they fire Gruden, but maybe not. Maybe they're doing it in spite. At 5-2, it's hard to say you're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I really love what the Raiders are doing. They're stepping up big since John Gruden's been let go. Well, resigned, whatever. The whole point is that they've distanced themselves from him now. The Raiders have proven that they're more than just their former head coach. I mean, they're really proven that they got a solid run game. Derek Carr knows what he's doing back there under center as a veteran and leading this team to a 5-2 record. Now, whether or not they win the division is a whole nother ball game. You still got the Chargers out there, so they got to get past Justin Herbert now. But I think that they're definitely a playoff team. It's going to be, but as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be between them and Cincinnati as for a wild card spot.
So with that being said, where are we feeling about the Week 8 matchups this week? It's kind of another slop fest. There's only a few games that we could really pick from, but who are you highlighting on the board this week?
Well, for me, I think it's this past weekend was just horrible games, absolutely horrible for the most part. The matchups were not too great at all, but I'm going to go a little off the grid here as far as, not one of these sexy matchups of the weekend. I'm looking forward to Cowboys-Vikings on Sunday Night Football. I really do like the Vikings to win this game here. I think this is the first time in a while that the Cowboys are facing some legit competition. And quietly, Kirk Cousins has been really good this season. And I think the Vikings are, they have a great shot to make the playoffs this year as that seven seed, especially with the way the injuries are piling up in the NFC West for the Cardinals and the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going to do, unlike you, Nick, I'm going to go with the sexy matchup here. I'm going to go with good old Aaron Rodgers versus the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona, baby. The undefeated team versus the good old faithful Green Bay Packers. And let me tell you what, Aaron Rodgers still has plenty left in the tank. This man, the only problem is now it's on Thursday night. It's on a short week, and now he's got Devontae Adams out, and he's possibly got his second wide receiver out. I just saw tested positive for COVID.
Allen Lazard.
Thank you, Allen Lazard. I blanked for a second. My fault, Johnny. But now he's got two of his top wide receivers out. So that's going to make his day a lot more difficult against the Cardinals. I still would like the Cardinals probably in this game if everybody's healthy, but only by a field goal. But now, obviously, you have to factor in the Cardinals to cover the number here because of Adams potentially being out.
So, in regards to the Packers-Cardinals game, I mean, listen, I understand the NFL did not know that the Cardinals were going to be this good and really anticipate it. But, I mean, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, I wanted this to be a Sunday 425 game. That's what I wanted. I mean, I'm sick of Thursday games. Like, yeah, it's cool to have football on Thursday, but fantasy purposes, like getting a good game on Thursday, like it's not for me. I don't bet Thursday night games. It's fluky. It's short weeks. Like I'm not big into it. But like, now with this COVID protocol, like you got guys vaccinated, you're gonna miss Devontae Adams. Like Arizona is. I'm gonna have somebody on the Cardinals pick lottery numbers for me because the luck they're getting is off the charts. Like, yeah, okay, against Cleveland, you're going to say they're missing Chandler Jones and Cliff Kingsbury. Fine, so be it. But at the same token, the Browns are missing both tackles. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt gets hurt in game. I think Greedy Williams or Denzel Ward got hurt in game, something like that. And now they get to face Green Bay, who right now is one of the hottest teams in football without their best wide receiver, one of their best players, and their second best wide receiver. I wanted to take Green Bay here with the points. Now without Allen Lazard, it's going to be a heavy Aaron Jones game. Matt LaFleur is going to have to do something very creative to even come close to this. I mean, off the bat, right now, I'd probably have to say Arizona covers the spread at 6.5. I mean, listen, I'm not that big into Arizona, but I think especially with the injuries in Green Bay's defense, D-Hop, Kyler Murray, now Zach Ertz, they're going to be able to find ways to exploit these matchups. And, as much as I love Aaron Rodgers, bro, like your number one wide receiver right now is going to be MVS coming back from injury. So I guess the only way you could really deploy this is to have Aaron Jones line up out wide a little bit more than he normally would, have A.J. Dillon in the backfield, try and mix in a lot of two-back sets because it's going to be tough sledding, man. It really is. I don't know what you're going to do. Arizona, I think they're going to win this pretty relatively easy.
Pretty handedly.
Let me ask you, guys, a question. I don't think the Cardinals are going undefeated, but I'm a believer in them. Looking at their schedule here, I think we both agree the Rams could beat them. And that's really it other than this game. I think, if they're going to lose, I think this is a prime spot. Thursday night, short week, going against Aaron Rodgers. I think the Packers can knock them off. I think you got to take the Packers here, betting-wise anyway. But then they got the 49ers, the Panthers. Yeah. Plus, then you got go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, listen, Arizona's got a couple of tough games left on the schedule. They're going to go against the Packers. They got so lucky here because Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, a fully healthy team. I was siding with the Packers not only to cover a spread but win. Niners, they got next. They're going to beat the Niners. Niners are just in complete disarray. Then they got the Panthers. Then they got the Seahawks in Seattle. This might be a tough one because Russell
Wilson will be back. Yep.
But I will say Arizona, for whatever reason, even during Seattle's heydays when they were a tough team to beat, Arizona, for whatever reason, always gave Seattle problems in Seattle. I'll say that. Then they got the Rams later in the season. They also have the Colts. They have the Seahawks again. They also have the Cowboys. So I'll say this. Based on their schedule, the big game is going to come down to the Rams-Cardinals rematch. That's the swing game. That might also determine who gets the number one seed in the NFC because the way it's going right now, the Rams are humming, dude. I mean, listen, they took their foot off the gas. They, to me, weren't that focused against the Lions early on, letting onside kicks go by.
Yeah, kudos to Dan Campbell. He did all he could to win that game.
He is doing everything he can for that winless team to get them a win. He's got them fighting. Like everybody made fun of his press conference at the beginning of the year when he first took the job about, if you get knocked down, we're going to bite your knee, all that stuff. He's got him fighting, Kyle, man. They're playing professional.
Is this the best 0-7 Lions team of your lifetime? Because this is the
best 0-7 Lions team of my lifetime. There, Nick Durst. Well said.
So listen, I still think the Rams are going to catch them. I think the Cardinals have been very fortunate. I do not think they're that good. They have a lot of holes. They have a lot of talent, but I don't see it. I don't see it. I think they're they're not there yet. They will be, but they're not there yet right now. Moving on here, a game that I want to highlight. I wasn't sure I wanted to because I have to hear Kyle, but Titans-Colts. This is almost at a pick 'em. Titans -1 at Indianapolis. They beat them earlier in the season. Now here, let's call this what it is, okay? Indianapolis starting to heat up a little bit. They got back-to-back 30-point games. They're still 5-2 against the spread this year, and they covered their last 4. So they're really heating up. Jonathan Taylor, the only running back right now better than him is going to be opposing running back Derrick Henry, who, by the way, is a 290-yard lead ahead of Jonathan Taylor, who is second in the NFL, 579 yards. Titans, though, lately have had the Colts number. They've won 3 of the last 4. And, I mean, listen, do we think the Titans are going to keep staying hot, or are they going to let down against a divisional opponent, which we know is always tough and has been very back and forth the last 10 years after beating the Bills and the Chiefs in consecutive weeks? Nick, I want to start with you. How do you feel about the Titans-Colts this week?
Well, I mean, you got to be, if you're a Colts fan, you got to be happy with the promise the Colts are showing as of late, but I think it's a little too late at this point. Obviously, they have to win this game. I don't think they're going to win this game. Titans here, looking ahead, they got the Rams next week, so maybe that is kind of like, all right, they're looking ahead to that so the Colts can get them, which we see happen from time to time in the NFL. But listen, I think the Titans here, moving forward here, they have a lot of winnable games. Obviously, they play in a horrible division. They're still going to play the Texans twice. They're going to play the Jaguars again. They got to play the Steelers, who look lost. So they're going to win this division. I think you got to take the Colts +1, but I do think that the Titans are going to win this game.
Well, how does that even work, bro? Like
that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Does not work.
What do you mean that doesn't work?
Overtime.
I'll say what? Okay. Well, in any case, all I'll say is this: if the Titans win this game, beat the Colts, it's pretty much a lock for the AFC South. The Titans, barring a monumental collapse, are going to be the AFC South champions if they beat Indianapolis. I do think you're right. It's a little too late for Indy. They really aren't that good. They just have too many problems.
Always struggled against Indianapolis, and it's in Indianapolis, so I wouldn't be shocked at Lucas Oil Stadium if the Colts just decide to make my Sunday miserable.
So who are you on?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to ride the Titans here just because I'm going to go with the momentum. The Derrick Henry train is full bore. Go ahead, step in front of it. See if you want to. It's a life decision at that point. But, I mean, as long as they keep up their consistent play and as long as the defense gets better, I think Tennessee, just take care of the Colts now. Division's yours, like everybody else here is saying, and go handle business.
I want to pick the Colts because they're home. They need this win. Divisional games a lot of times are splits. But you know what, man? Titans riding a hot wave. I think I'm gonna hitch my wagon to their star. They're playing very good football, finding different ways to win in 2 consecutive weeks against 2 AFC powerhouses, even though the Chiefs aren't the same team that we've seen in the past. I think I got to ride the Titans here, man. I really do. Carson Wentz, he's playing a lot better. Let's give him credit, but
still worried about this being a trap game, like you said, John. I really, like you said, I really think this is a potential for a trap game because Tennessee just comes off a big win against somebody that beat them in the AFC Championship game back 2019. A completely emotional win for anybody that was on that Titans team that is there now to beat the Chiefs the way that they did this past Sunday. And now you're going up against a divisional opponent who seems to be weaker than what they are. Because honestly, when the Colts are playing right, they're a good team. You saw it last night against San Francisco. Now, San Francisco hasn't really been good. They're pretty much a mess too. But, the good teams beat the bad teams. So they have taken care of San Francisco. I wouldn't be shocked if that got Indianapolis right, and then all of a sudden they get right here. Like I said, I still take Tennessee, but I wouldn't be shocked by Indianapolis doing something crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm gonna roll with the Titans here. I gotta ride the wave. I mean, this could be a potential trap spot, but you know what, man? Like, what else am I gonna do? This is basically a pick 'em. Tennessee's hot right now, even though Indianapolis is hitting its stride a little bit.
Hammer the over. Hammer the over.
Maybe. we can't really compare the Colts beating the Niners and the Texans in back-to-back weeks where the Titans are beating the Bills and the Chiefs. You get what I'm saying? So I think we have to roll with Tennessee here, even though sweeping divisions among two teams that are, somewhat mutual in talent. But getting to the last one here, because I didn't get a chance to touch on it. The Cowboys -2 at the Vikings. Both teams fresh off a bye. I don't know how I feel about Dallas. I really don't think they're as good as everybody thinks, but let's call it what it is right now. Cowboys have the number one total offense in the NFL, 460.8 yards per game, as well as number one in points per game with 34.2, and they're 6-0 against the spread for the first time in franchise history. But I got to say, man, Minnesota getting the home 2.5. I think the other shoe's got to drop for Dallas at some point. Like, sure, they could easily go into Dallas and take care of business, but I got to be honest. I think I like Minnesota in the home spot here. Minnesota's proven that they can keep up with an offensive powerhouse like in Arizona, and go score for score with them. So I do think Minnesota -2 or +2.5. The home 2.5 is usually dangerous. It's not like Minnesota when they had to match up with Cleveland. Dallas isn't exactly a Cleveland-esque type of team the way they run the ball and play defense. They are pretty good, but Cleveland, I think, is a different animal. I think I'm going to go with Minnesota here to get a home upset and get themselves right for the NFC playoff picture. So as we're wrapping up here, the Gambling Guinea will be bringing the best betting trends. We're going to allude to one of the games that I touched on before. Tennessee Titans -1 at the Colts. Just kind of mentioned it here. Tennessee is starting to hit their stride. Derrick Henry's on another planet right now. His down game, and he's still got a passing touchdown, which is cool. The Kansas City Chiefs basically sold out to stop this guy. And, what happened? Tannehill started picking apart a really bad defense. While the Colts have played much better, I'm not going so far as to say they're completely fixed. They played a good amount of soft schedules, soft teams. I mean, it was an absolute slot fest on Sunday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers. So I think Tennessee comes out, even though they try to sell out to stop Derrick Henry, and they do have a pretty solid defense. I mean, we saw Eli Mitchell have a good game against them on Sunday night. Yes, I understand it was a monsoon out there, but I think Derrick Henry could manage. And if not, like we saw Julio Jones, I don't believe he had any setbacks in the game. Going alongside with Derrick Henry, something's got to give. There's still a lot of injuries in Indianapolis' secondary, so I think there could be a lot of one-on-one exploitations going on for Tennessee against them. Your Honor, no objections. Titans -1 in Indy. So as we're wrapping up here, we got our final thoughts of the night. Kyle, take it away. What are you thinking here going into this week?
I'm thinking about the Tennessee-Indianapolis game. It's going to be a big game going into the weekend. Like I said, it's put your foot on their throat right now and take the Colts out of the equation. Go take the division and start working on getting that 1 or 2 seed to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That's what the Titans. Well, I know the 1 seed's the ultimate, but like if you have the 2 seed, you also get it until like if you got to play the 1 in the AFC Championship game. Which Titans?
Who's getting the 1 seed?
I'm talking about the Titans maybe getting a 1 seed here.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm saying if they're early enough in the picture where it could still happen. All I'm saying is that they're gonna have any kind of shot at that. They need to go lock it down right now with a statement win against Indianapolis.
Fair enough. What do you think, Nicholas?
I think the Bills will get the 1 seed. I just want to just say, let's go Astros. Rooting for them. Hopefully they can win it all. Dusty Baker gets the World Series that he needs. And the rest of the guys can say a big F you to the rest of the baseball, which I think is perfect storyline here, which I want to say, hate the Braves, won't move for them. And let's hope that Rob Gronkowski's back sooner rather than later.
Well, I got to say, in terms of the World Series, I would sprinkle some money here on Eddie Rosario to be the NL MVP or the World Series MVP. The guy had 14 hits in the series versus the Dodgers. That's tied for most all time in a single series. And let's call it what it is, man. I mean, when you're hot, you're hot. And you're going to have to pick the winning side most likely in order to get the MVP. So it's really what you think is going to happen. I like the Braves here. I think Frank was right, hit it on the head. If Atlanta gets one game of the first two in Houston, they have a very good shot, most likely going to win the series. I love Charlie Morton in this spot. I think Eddie Rosario is going to continue to mash, even if Jorge Soler is back. You're not going to take a guy out that just had 14 hits and was the NLCS MVP. Freddie Freeman's a little bit too obvious. So the way Rosario's hitting, I think he's a great bet. You want to sprinkle even further as well, you could go Austin Riley for Atlanta, but I think Atlanta's going to end up taking this series away from Houston, get their first chip since 95. Even though I didn't believe in them, I'm a man. I'll admit when I'm wrong. And if we're going to back the MVP, I think Eddie Rosario, maybe even a little Austin Riley's a pretty good value bet.
If you want to hedge Johnny's bets, just bet Freddie Freeman there. Just trust the pro, Frank Schwindel. Schwindel, sorry, my bad on the enunciation.
Yeah, it is your bad. So why don't you stop acting like you know it? All right. So you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at _JohnnyVTV. Nick's at Nick_Durst. Kyle does not have a Twitter. We'll be back next week. We might have another one of my esteemed colleague Major League players joining. We will let you know. Everybody, have a great week. Let's win some money. And I guess let's go Braves. Plus 115 on the money line tonight. Your Honor, no objections. Charlie Morton, take it away.